Hi there, my name is Steve Gearhart, and this is the Onagi Observer. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching the video this week. This week, we're going to talk about a couple different things. So yes, we have the Genshin Diaries back this week. Last week, we watched myself, Brent, and John over on the Anime Brief. We watched bunch of new anime for the spring 2023 season. If you want to see that, see our thoughts on the new shows, please check the link down below and check it out over at Anime Archaeology YouTube channel. So please enjoy that, see what our thoughts are. So yes, this week we're going to do Genshin Impact Diaries, and we're going to talk about Dea, the playable character Dea. But first, we're going to talk about an anime that I started watching, and it's called Akaba Maid Wars. So let's get started. Alright, so I had just finished an Archon quest in Genshin Impact, and it was kind of brutal in terms of the story. It was a very depressing story, and I wanted to watch something that would make me laugh. John and Brent had talked to me about Akaba Maid Wars before. Never really got into it. I'm not big into the maid cafe kind of thing, but I figured I needed something to cheer me up, and that's what maid cafes are for, right? So I kind of knew that there was going to be some violence in Akaba Maid Wars, but I didn't realize exactly what this series would be. So when I started watching it, I was just like, oh, okay. So anyway, Akaba Maid Wars, released 2018, a collaboration project between Cygames and PA Studios. You can find it on High Dive and I believe Crunchyroll as well. Should you want to watch it, it's 12 episodes for the season. There's rumors of a second season, but I'm not sure on that just yet. I haven't really looked into it. I'm still working my way through the first season. So anyway, what is Akaba Maid Wars? So the series starts out in 1985, and this limo pulls up outside of what's clearly supposed to be an upscale maid cafe kind of thing. And this one woman comes out, and in a kimono, the whole 9 yards, and another woman comes out, and they're standing there in the rain, and this other maid comes up out of nowhere and shoots one of the two women. And that is, I believe, the start of the actual Maid War. So it's a grim start to something that's supposed to be a dark comedy. So it's very grim. And then it shoots forward to 1999. And in 1999, this young 17-year-old plucky girl named Nagomi is coming to Tokyo, and she wants to be a maid. She wants to work in a maid cafe. She wants to wear cute outfits and do cute things, and that's what she wants for her life. So she goes to the Pigsty, which is a type of maid cafe where it's pig themed. And she goes in, and of course she's immediately given the maid outfit, and people kind of don't seem to care that whether or not she has any experience or anything, because by the end of the day, she's given a task to do, to deliver a letter to another maid cafe. And she's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do that. And she's with another newbie who is actually more mature. She's 35 years old. I believe she is one of the witnesses to the murder at the very beginning of the episode. And she kind of knows what's going on. She's like, I'll go with her. And everyone's just like, you sure? And he's like, yes. So they're given these money for ramen downstairs, which is really just a front for arming the maids. And so, but the young 17-year-old girl Nagomi doesn't know that. And she's completely oblivious to everything going on around her. She just is, maid cafe, stars in her eyes. And so they go to this other maid cafe where the letter is delivered, and as they're walking in, there's this horrifying Yakuza kind of thing that is going on. There's a maid forced down, face down on a table by another maid in that cafe, and the maid whose face is being pressed into the table has a knife over one of her pigtails, and she's being told to cut her pigtail. Kind of like how Yakuza is supposed to cut off a finger if they screw something up. Same idea. And so Nagomi is just like, what's going on here? I'm just here to deliver the letter. And, she delivers the letter. And, of course, it's filled with insults. And the other maid cafe girls from this other competitor maid cafe suddenly pull out all the stops. They pull out knives and things like that. And Nagomi is just like, And her friend Ronko, who is the 35-year-old who seems to know what's going on, she raises the bag, pulls the trigger of the gun inside the bag, and proceeds to shoot a bullet into the head of the lead maid cafe chief, who is wearing a bunny like bunny ears and things, and looking very cute. And suddenly she's shot in the head, and blood spurts out for comedic effect onto Nagusi's blouse, and suddenly it becomes a run and gun battle. And so the two maid girls, Nagomi and Ranko, are running away. They've got 15 other of the maid girls from the other maid cafe chasing after them with murderous intent. And suddenly Ranko stops, turns around, and as she does that, we cut back to the pigsty, where one of their co-workers is doing, the little maid song dance routine that they do for the otaku that are in there. And you got 4 otaku guys going, yeah, you can do it. And and she's singing this J-pop song. And when you listen to the lyrics, you realize that she's talking about murdering people, shooting them in the head, how to load a gun, those kinds of things. And as she's singing back, it cuts back and forth between that and Ronko delivering death onto the other denzians of the other maid cafe. And the bloodshed ends when one of the vanquished maids is on the ground. She's looking up at Ranko going, please don't shoot me. And Ranko goes, I'm going to send you on your way, and does a dance move and shoots the girl. Keep in mind that as Ranko was shooting all these people, it was a dance routine. Yeah, so that is Akiba Made Worse in a nutshell. So basically the idea is that maid cafes are ultra competitive to the point that they emulate the Yakuza. There's hidden casinos, there's loan sharking, there's intimidation, that kind of a thing going on between all the maid cafes. And so there's this kind of underground violence that is based around the maid cafes trying to operate and compete with each other. And as the series goes on, it's just basically Nagasiya, whatever her name is, coming to grips with that. And it is very much a dark comedy. This anime is not for everyone. And I literally just gave you the nutshell of what this is about. It's cute girls in maid outfits doing the cute things at the maid cafes, and then protecting their maid cafes and their co-workers with unmitigated great levels amount of violence and murder and mayhem and chaos. So if that's your thing, then this is definitely for you. I will probably finish the series. I do enjoy dark humor. I do enjoy chaotic things from time to time, and this seemed to fit my mood at the moment. And but like I said, this is not for everybody. So if that's not your thing and you're looking for just a kind of cutesy maid cafe, how are they going to keep the cafe going, and what silly plan are they going to enact next? This is not it, because the silly plan is usually murder in this particular series. So it's hard for me to tell you whether or not to watch this. I guess it kind of depends on your mood. It kind of depends on whether or not you like really dark humor. I will say I accidentally read a spoiler about how this ends, and it is grim dark. And I was not expecting that. And it was a total accident on my part. So I'm just like, I kind of now want to finish the series just to see how they get to that point. And but when it's funny, it's funny. It is. So there is that. So yeah, Akiba Made Worse. Cute Yakuza type girls killing each other. You tell me. Put the comments down below. All right, let's go on and talk about well, no, it's not less violent because it's Daya. Let's go on to Genshin Impact Diaries. All right, welcome to the Genshin Diaries, and let's talk about Dea. So Dea is an eremite in Genshin Impact, which means that she's from the deserts near Sumeru, and she is a mercenary. That's what the eremites do, and that's kind of how they make their money. Dea, of course, apparently appears to be a little bit smarter, a little bit wants a little bit more out of life than just roaming the sands. So she has actually explored various parts of Teyvat. So she's familiar with the way, she's familiar with Mondstadt. I don't think she's been to Inazuma yet, and of course Sumeru, the jungles of Sumeru. And she is, like I said, she's a mercenary. She was raised within a family of mercenaries, from the eremite tribes. And she has a very good reputation among them. She has a reputation of being a very good fighter. She wields a claymore very effectively. And, of course, she is a pyro character, hence the Flame Main moniker. So that's a little bit about the history of Dea. You come across her as you go through one of I believe, the Archon quest, where you also meet Nahida, where you keep going into the Samsara cycles, doing the same thing over and over again, and you're trying to figure out how to get out of it. Dea plays a bodyguard to one of the characters that you are interacting with. And, of course, like I said, she becomes playable during parts of that particular quest. So you get the chance to play her if you don't have her already within your character list. And this is someone that you probably want to have in your character list. Genshin Impact has a lot of different playable characters that you can throw in there. And some of them are really good for things, and some of them are just kind of placeholders almost, they seem to be. They have very, very specific functions in very, very specific storylines. Dea is a character that you can use pretty much anywhere. She has some interesting talents and stats, and we'll get into those in a moment. One of the best things, though, about Dea right now is that she is probably the best character that uses a claymore. Claymore characters are a little hard to play with because they have very slow speeds on their attacks. Now, though, obviously, when you get hit by a claymore, there's a lot of damage that happens, and if you happen to have a character that can deal a lot of damage because of their type of element, like, say, electrical, like Beidou, or pyro like Dea, then you can actually do some serious damage. And of course, usually the first claymore character that you come across is Noelle, and she's more of a shield maiden, so it's more about activating shields than it is about attacking. And again, claymore users, as you start off early on, some of them are just, while they have a lot of power behind their hits, it's just that their attacks are slow. That's just how it is. So when I came across Beidou, who was an electro user, and she wielded a claymore, when I got her on a roll, so to speak, on a wish roll, I noticed that her speed was a little bit more quicker than the average claymore, and because she was electro, she could deal a lot of damage. And I used her a lot for a long time simply because of those reasons. Then when I came across Dea has even more power because of as a pyro user. Think Yanfei. Like, if you level Yanfei up pretty high, she delivers some damage. Dea can do the same thing, and Dea is far more quicker with a claymore than any of the other claymore users I've found so far that I've been able to play. So she is really good in terms of a crunch player or a cleanup player. So she would be your kind of like your number 3 when you're developing squads. So you have 4 slots in a squad. She would be your number 3 character. She is good in instances like if you're going up against a boss and your first 2 characters, which are usually OP'd, are for whatever reason is like, their health is way down or one's killed and you need to revive one of them, right? But you have to wait like 30 seconds to get the food to be able to revive them. Dea is great to pull in because she's got a good durability, which is one of her talents, and she can pack a wallop, so she can give you that time for those more powerful, even more powerful characters to revive them and get them back into play. Now, if you use your characters in such a way that you massively beat down, say, a boss opponent, but you're just not quite there, and your characters are dead or they're about to die, and there's just not enough time to revive them. But again, the boss's red line is way down low. Bring Dea in; she'll clean it up, hands down, clean it up. And if you have her Q ready when you bring her in, oh my God, it's just a joy to watch. It really is. Actually, that sequence, when the Q sequence, when you hit the Q button and you have that little tiny 3-second cut scene of them powering up and ready for the attack, hers is amazing. And then when it goes into the Q attack itself is just really just chef's kiss. So anyway, so Dea is a very, very, very good character. So I'm going to show that in doing dailies. I'm just going to use her exclusively during the dailies. But let me go through some of her stats here so that you get an idea of what she can do. So in terms of her talents, one of the things that she can do is Sunlit Way, which is during daytime, if she's in a party of other characters, by just being around her, your speed can increase. So she has the ability to increase the speed of other people around her, both in movement and in attack. Stalwart and true and unstinting succor, don't know how you say that. Basically, this is where her durability comes in. So for stalwart and true, I'll just read it out. When her hit points is less than 40%, Dea will recover 20% of her max HP, and restore 6% of her max HP every 2 seconds for the next 10 seconds. So that's an additional 30%. So when you're fighting and that happens, you'll notice your health bar creeps back up, hence her durability. The Leonine Bite, that is just when I believe that's your, I think that's your Q attack. No. Anyway, so that is where she enters the blazing lioness state and increases her resistance to interruption. In this state, Dea will automatically and continuously unleash the Flame Mane's fist, dealing pyro damage based on her attack and max HP. And when its duration ends, she will unleash an incineration drive, dealing an AoE pyro damage based on her attack and max AP. So I believe that's the part where she just hits the person with her claymore 7 times in very quick succession, and just delivers just massive amounts of damage. You have Molten Inferno that I believe is her E attack, and it kind of depends on how you use it. You create a Fiery Sanctum, so you'll see a radius circle happen, and that increases her damage. It's kind of like Jean. It increases her damage ability for anything inside of that, and also kind of heats things up. So if you have cryo characters or cryo monsters inside of there, it's easier for her to dispatch them in such a way. And then of course her Sandstorm Assault, which is her normal attack. You get 4 attacks on that. It does drain her stamina a little bit, but as you realize, as you level her up and you deal with her talents in this way, that stops being an issue after a while. So when you have Dea and you have her leveled up, I have her currently at level 80, and if you kit her out well with artifacts and a good weapon, then you have a really powerful character. So I'm just gonna very quickly here go through the artifacts that I have on for her. The Crown of Wanasumi, that's a good healing thing, so I have that on her. I have that at level 18. At level 11, Gladiator's Intoxication, so energy recharge right there. I have the Kawaii of Parting, so that's another kind of like Elemental Mastery, increases your attack. So I got that. That's at level 10. At level 16 is Maiden's Heart-Stricken Infatuation. Again, more energy recharge, more hit points, defense, important. Because sometimes you need that, because when you throw her into battle, man, you get going with her in that, you're going to need stuff like that. Gladiator's Nostalgia. Again, increases crit damage, your attack, your hit points, and your defense. So that's a nice solid thing to boost everything up. So if you hit her out with some good stuff like that, then and you have her leveled up, good stuff, good things will happen. So obviously she's a Claymore user. The best Claymore that I have for her right now is, and you know, you can always change weapons because it kind of almost depends on how you use them. And so for right now, I have on her a prototype archaic Claymore. Base attack 497, attack percentage is 25.1%. I've got it leveled up to 80. On a normal battle, you know, just swinging her sword, there's a 50% chance to deal an additional 240% attack damage to the opponent within that small area of combat. Occurs once every 15 seconds. So again, if you put the right Claymore on her, you put the right combination of artifacts, you have a very powerful character. All right, this is the point where I'm going to stop. And I'm going to ask you guys to check us out at the Anime Brief over at Anime Archaeology YouTube channel. The link will be down below. We'll be talking about first run shows for spring 2023. And in terms of Akaba Maid War, give it a try. Let me know what you thought down below. Keep it clean. Keep the comments clean. And now I'm going to show you the video of how I play with Dea in doing the dailies. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of the video.
You